Brazil has only won a single match at all of our other major tournaments at Reykjavík, at Berlin, at Champions. Brazil was only able to win one match. NIP are looking poised to be, well, no, not per team. A single match for each of the tournaments. So if NIP are able to get another win here, to be able to get out of groups, it would be such a big victory for not just them, but also the region overall. And remember that this is only the second best team. Look at DRX though, they're going for that classic play. This is what they did on the bonus round yesterday.
It's explosive. Already the dash straight up into the top of Nest. A bit of preparation though, Shandy was ready for it and he shuts that down.
You would love to catch him just before he plants though. The spike is down and now you've got these classic post-plant setups. Look at the positioning of Mako all the way back with double snake bites. He's already fired one off.
This is chaos though. Already you can see the NIP were kind of ready for this one, but the crossfire setup in kitchen. RB collects two, just needs to try and hold it down in mid-zest. The shots eventually finding their mark, and with the snake bite on top of it, it's an easy pick-off there for Stacks.
It's such a cool round. I love that that's the opener, because these two teams do have incredibly different styles, right, Brent? That's part of what you were talking about. DRX, like Barlow was saying constantly on the desk, they love to go big aggressive executes and then play post plants. And they get into post plants 80% of the time. If you look at their entire year, they get the spike down 80% of the time. That is an enormous amount of rounds in their attack half. And then from there, you have to break their post plant setups. And you can see in this round, even though NIP are that level of aggressive team, it's BNJ that goes for the push into mid, and he just doesn't have enough bullets to be able to really make it work. Got a very early tech timeout here as we try and figure out what's going on with the gear, but this will also give some people time to take their breath after that one.
Yeah, that was a fast round.
That pistol round was fast and practiced. But
yeah,
it's something that we've seen before from DRX as well, so it was certainly not a new one that they've pulled out.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, the kind of philosophical differences with the way that both of these teams play. I mean, NIP as well, a team that I think they really do put a lot of emphasis on that individual talent, and players like Shandy and John, who were some of the oldest players on their team as well, but they're playing these star duelist roles and really putting all of that focus on them.
And John is a player that we saw play Jet yesterday. He was picking up the Jet for the first time on Ascent, and then he moved over to play it on Split, which is normal for them. With the map pool that we have currently today, I don't think we'll see John play Jet at all the entire time, because he plays Reyna on IceBox, he plays Reyna on Breeze, and then he normally has been playing the Sage for them on Fracture with their most recent composition. So I think this is going to be him moving back into that. You can't even really call it a flex role if he's playing Reyna a lot.
No, you can't.
He is the second duelist for the squad. But I think it's going to introduce a really unique aspect to this match where NIP have a very different look to what they actually brought out in their win yesterday over Fnatic.
Absolutely, yeah. It is very differing opinions in terms of it. But DRX have loosened up as well as they've been playing compared to previously. I mean, Vision Strikers, they were quite buttoned up. Obviously, Vision Strikers now known as DRX in terms of the core of the roster that are playing in this match here today.
Tell you an interesting fact about though as well, because when Stacks was talking at the press conference before this tournament kicked off, he was talking to one of the journalists that asked him a question about how his IGLing style, because he used to IGL for them when they were at tournaments such as Masters Berlin, has changed now that Zest has been added to this lineup. And he actually said that Zest tends to play more from a playbook, more protocol based, and more of that kind of post-land setup as well. Which, if you think about how Vision Strikers used to play, it was very playbook kind of focused too. And I would argue they loosened that up over the course of 2021. So it really is vastly different philosophies on how to play the game of Valorant heading into this match. And it makes for a great head-to-head on some fantastic maps too.
Yeah. And it was a surprising kind of map pool as well we saw earlier. I mean, it was just kind of, it was very quick, you know, it was across your screens before you could blink. But DRX banning Split was very interesting. I mean, both of these teams love to play Split.
DRX are undefeated on it, and even with their former roster were incredible at it too, and they first banned it.
First banned it in the first round of matches. I mean,
is that hiding something?
I don't know.
Playoffs? Is that actually scared of NIP? Because NIP are good on the map too.
They are.
I'm not sure. But what this has done, and you know, now's a good time to discuss it while we're still in this tech pause and we're thinking about the matches in entirety. Map 1, IceBox. DRX have only played that twice this year. Map 3, Fracture. DRX have only played that once this year. If you're trying to prep for them, you're going off the tiniest sample size possible.
A bit like last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
DRX, they did not play too many matches last year. But the tail end of it.
I mean, they've still played a lot of maps this year, but they used to ban IceBox after they lost it domestically. And then they were banning Fracture, too, at the beginning of the year. So
not a lot of footage to go off of if you are an IP.
Not at all. But I think, you know, Bala on the desk has picked up on some key themes that they've demonstrated in that small sample size. So that's got to be at the top of Xandi's head when he's thinking about this. And especially now that they've had time to ruminate upon what happened in that first round, where it was such a classic all-in play and then post-plant lineups.
And it looked like they were kind of ready for it as well. I think, I mean, Xandi was updrafted in. I'm casting my mind back to that round.
Sure.
And I have a chronic case of just, sometimes just the brain fog takes over and I forgot what I've had for breakfast and what I've just watched, but...
Well, yeah, Buzz did get rushed down by a frenzy up in the top B side.
But I'm hoping we see a bit more of that as the series progresses as well. And it'll be interesting to see how NIP end up dealing with it as well. What's the nickname that John has?
Cavallo Valoroso is John's nickname, which is, I mean, essentially just demonstrating how aggressively he plays on stuff like Reina. He runs in, he takes duels, he takes fights. I'm not going to try and explain the wordplay in Portuguese for you. I'm not that intelligent.
Sure.
I'm not a linguist. But yeah, he really does have this reputation in the Portuguese scene of being a player that's really happy to take duels as much as possible, isolate those 1v1s, force those 1v1s. And I think that's going to be a key component in this match today, whether or not he can even be allowed to do that on Reina. If we imagine him playing Reina on IceBox and then Breeze, he might be running into a KO on both maps. Obviously, Stack's pulling it out here.
Yeah.
And that, like Ikuka was talking about on the desk, you get a knife on you at 0 point and you're playing Reina, that is game over.
All right, well, while we're waiting for this, I believe there's a monitor issue that's currently going to be sorted out, and we're working to get that done as quickly as humanly possible as well. But I believe as well we do have a nice little video package, something to get to know DRX better as a team as well, so that'll be quite nice. So, you know, take your eyes and take a look and a gander at this. Okay,
hey, what's up?
We're gonna fix that. I swear to God, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna get that sorted, including the monitor issue. We're gonna get a game out of the way.
It's all gonna.
I promise you, I'm not getting paid by the minute. I wish I was, but
yeah,
the case.
There you go. DRX are a really cool team, though. If you're not familiar with their story, they have really been one of the most hyped up teams all last year when they were known as Vision Strikers, and now here again, they have at least some degree of hype around them. But I think a lot of the community is starting to get the feeling that, maybe we shouldn't be hyping these guys up. They haven't delivered at the big tournaments. There's Mako, who went absolutely crazy on IceBox yesterday. But this team has had, you know, they made quarterfinals in Berlin. They were 9th to 12th, the champions. It's not been spectacular for all of the hype that was generated early on. But in my opinion, Brent, this roster is even better than the one that they had in 2021.
I agree. Yeah.
I think the addition of Zest will obviously have to see how that IGLing compares to Stacks in that position. But getting Buzz onto a Sentinel role, oh my word, his chamber, his killjoy, he just gets so much work done from that position. And it's great to see him kind of at the back and RB at the front, and they're both the biggest fraggers for this team. Both obviously have played Jet for them in the past, and Buzz is going to start here on IceBox. Playing the Jet, yeah.
Bringing
it back to the past.
As well. And you can understand why there's so much hype behind DRX as well at times. I mean, you look across the entire esports ecosystem.
Okay.
Korea has been this powerhouse region in terms of producing phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
In a lot of
any League
games.
fans out there?
Exactly. Like you just gotta take one look at the history of it, and you can see why people are excited about DRX. Especially over the course of last year when they were showing such regional dominance. Even this year with the regional dominance, only having a couple of brief missteps in their group stage.
And I think if you talk to some of the people on the ground floor in the Korean Valorant scene too, one of the things that they're hoping for from a tournament like this is that an incredible result from DRX. I think RB's fallen asleep there. He's just having a quick nap, just preserving all of his energy. What they're hoping for, though, I think a lot of the people really invested in the Korean Valorant scene, is that a big victory for DRX in this tournament. And that doesn't mean the #1 spot, but, you know, making it semi-finals or even a grand final. Sure, making it deep. would revitalize the scene and really carry that momentum forwards, because Korea as a region tends to dominate when they have a massive investment in a game, when they really have a huge player base and everyone's excited to be at the top of it.
Absolutely.
And that ball is just starting to get rolling, I think, with Valorant. These players are on the forefront of it, and they've done incredibly well for their region so far. It's one of those regions that's crazy. I think there was only something like 34 pro teams that signed up, and you still have talent like this
that are performing. Yeah, I mean, they're going toe to toe.
The player base in terms of professional people who are signing up for
the conversion of almost player base to pro team.
Yeah, it's
global events.
It's quite extraordinary. It's an incredibly talented region. And finally, they've actually got some domestic competition there as well with Onslayers who weren't able to make it to this event.
Okay, well, we are still working, of course, on the monitor issue that's plaguing us.
Yeah.
And the game will be getting started, I'm sure, very soon as well.
I'm going to have you go down there and fix it in a second.
You don't want that. I'll get my butter knife out and I'll electrocute myself again like I did when I was trying to fix my PC. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at another little package here, and hopefully we sorted it out as well for you. So, see you in a bit.
DRX의 제스트 김기석입니다. 때때로 이제 자신감이 부족해질 때가 있는데 전 연습량으로 채우려 하는 편입니다. 저는 리더로서 이제 너무 막 사납고 막 고집 세고 그런 것보다는 이제 의견들 다 전부 들어주면서 좀 유한 성격에 좀 유쾌한 성격이 좀 어울리는 것 같은데 전 성격이 괜찮은 것 같습니다. 네. 일단 전체적인 구조는 제가 메인 오더로 있고 그리고 스택스 선수가 서브 오더 정도로 도와주는 느낌이고.
안녕하세요. 저는 DRX 소속 스택스라고 합니다. 저는 벌레를 두려워합니다. 저를 일단 두려워해야 되는 이유는 언제 어디서든 예측 불가에 가까운 플레이를 조금 보여주고 있기 때문에 그런 걸 조금 주시하셔야 될 것 같고, 그리고 이제 상대방을 이제 읽고 이제 이기는 방법을 알기 때문에 그 점을 좀 주시하셔야 될 것 같습니다. 그리고 이제 마코 선수는 굉장히 과묵하면서도 조금 이제 너무 이제 또라이 면이 이제 점점 드러나고 있지 않나. 그리고 이제 알비 선수는 여전히 그냥 뭐 살짝 로봇 같은 사람이고, 그 다음에 이제 버즈는 그냥 이게 진짜 그냥 모르겠어요. 그냥 조커 같아요. 그냥 요즘에 미치겠어요. 그냥 경기하기 전에 노래를 조금 들으면서 조금 집중을 하려고 노력을 하고 있고, 그거 말고는 요즘에 좋아하게 된 가수는 BTS 노래를 많이 즐겨 듣고 있어요. 그 보답을 이용해서 이번 마스터즈 1 레이캬비크에서는 정말 좋은 성적을 보여드릴 테니까 치킨 한 마리 사주시고 경기 직관하시면 될 것 같습니다.
Now it seems like we have sorted out the tech pause, we've identified the issue, and we are going to take this back to your casters, Bren and Sideshow, to hopefully get us back into game.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, we're going to be getting into the game. And yeah, I hear the issue is resolved.
Good work,
Finally
Bren.
get the game. Yeah, that was me. During the break, ran downstairs, sorted out. Oh, it's a cable problem. Sort it out. No problem, guys. Yeah, I'm here all week.
Okay, so were you here for the first round?
I was here for the first round, yeah.
If you just joined us, DRX won the pistol, running a really cool mid to B strat where they updraft on top box, and we're playing post-plant lineups from mid. That's your TLDW. So now NIP in a really rough position with their economy.
Well, it's early days yet.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. Listen, I'm not saying that they're out of it already. I'm just trying to refresh people's memory on what had happened.
Yeah.
Here we go then.
A bit of weaponry online here. NIP will see if they can do any damage. John with the Sheriff. And it is this stack onto the A site. This is a troubling scenario right now for DRX if they just run into this one without clearing the corners and using utility to be able to work their way in. But it looks like they won't be having too many issues regarding that. The wall's going to go up as well, which means a safe plant for them.
remaining.
No problem whatsoever.
They do take away the one, but yeah, getting the plant down, I think if they can clean this up, they should be looking pretty tidy with the second round on the board.
Besney's trying to figure out how he can have impact in this round. Got the little heal up, but there are just so many players holding all sorts of angles. Not going to be there for them, and now a bit of a soft reset. Okay, NIP, they're going to start to get the rifles on board, and DRX with a pretty decent buy, actually, to go for some kind of spicy bonus round. And there's Stax just farming up towards his first ultimate. You've got a ton of value there. But if you're thinking about DRX here, normally they're the team that pulls out something cool, something unique for a bonus round like this. And we've already seen the main strat that I'm familiar with from DRX when they like to throw something wonky in there. We already saw it as a pistol round, so what do they got for us here? Looks like an all-in piece towards A.
You got the Spectres in hand, but now it's the buy round, obviously, for NIP, a couple of rifles they're working with.
And actually, I think this was a read on the same play. Look at Shandy's position on top on the B site. I think they expected the same kind of strat to be coming out because DRX ran it in the bonus against Zeta Division. And now they've had to pull that rotate back over, John joining the rest of the players on A.
Kawazin's going to use his drone just to get a bit of information. Obviously, it was flashed off as well. And it is this slow siege currently from DRX. The wall goes up, but the spam, I believe a portion of it broken, but not the one that counted. Not the one they needed. The spike's still going to be going down here. But a nice kill. Kawazin finding that one for RB.
Double
John
shot
looking
dart.
for a little bit more.
Brent,
yeah,
this is
now
what
this
Valor
is
was
the
talking
post-plant, man. This is where the post-plants start to come into play.
Double shock dart, double snake bite, KO fragment grenade as well. Does NIP push forward? Do they take those positions away? How does Mako still win?
Mako tries to go for a quick little two-tap swing around the corner. Zest now left alone in a 1v3 with Shandy taking that high ground position. Not a problem for them. NIP with a clear understanding of how to disrupt those post-plant setups.
Yeah.
All the utility coming in. It was something that we were watching Zeta Division. They were kind of crumbling. They couldn't really figure out how to disrupt that when DRX were getting set up.
Yeah, and the counter to it is fairly simple, although arguably a bit difficult to pull off. You need to be there, ready to put pressure on the plant, and then you need to be retaking quickly before these players can get set up.
Yeah.
So, you know, they catch Buzz as he's trying to escape. They're swinging onto Mako as he's trying to set up for that final snake bite. And John looks happy about that one.
Certainly does. Now you keep a couple of these rifles rolling into the next round here, but DRX, obviously that last round was their bonus, so.
Now I haven't seen that recon dart lineup before, and I was wondering where it was landing when they ran that one against Zeta Division. So it looks like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure why he threw the shock dart at the beginning there, but it's a recon dart designed to flush out the right-hand side for any players holding, you know, up on the high ground or in a cheeky one and done over by there.
See a lot of pings on the map there from DRX. Looking like they want to try and get something going over towards the A site. All the players leaning over towards it, but still a minute on the clock, a lot of time. And while all this is going on, that Sage Wall has not been broken.
No, it hasn't. And Besney's been putting that one up frequently at the beginning of the rounds. So that's certainly something to keep in mind when we're thinking strategically here. What information do NIP have access to? B is not a worry for them at the beginning.
Well, they actually didn't get any information off the initial drone from Kawazin, and now here comes the hit from DRX. The drone let them in initially as well, pushing the players back.
Look how good that slow orb
popped
is.
off. Yep. Slow orb denies any sort of plays, just trying to push deep into them. And again, it's the same Sage Wall, but this time the players, obviously NIP deciding to play all the way back here for this retake.
Mako's got a flank coming back through mid too. Not playing the classic post-plant lineup.
Oh my goodness, playing close up. It's going to be the trade. Buzz getting the one, John eventually finding the other one.
And here comes Mako around the back.
Yeah,
he's going to start to get an angle.
Everything right now with the diffusers being stuck. They're going to be able to get the half here. Can DRX try and disrupt it? And the answer is yes. That's a post-plant lineup as well from that one area when he lurks through. He had a snake bite for it.
Yeah, not bad. He's kind of benefiting there from the fact that the Sage Wall has to be broken, opens up a sight line for him to throw a snake bite through, and he's already placed that smoke down, so it just does mega damage. And Mako's on the flank. Really nice idea to throw in.
Look at this. That's
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, that's not even, I thought he'd just thrown it straight through the Sage Wall, but that's not, that's bounced off the top.
Yeah.
What a good play. And that adds, again, another thing for NIP to start considering. You play aggressively on your defense, and suddenly we're wrapping all the way through mid.
Sure.
Layers upon layers from DRX.
Now it's a bit of a half by once more. Drone for a drone. Zest gets a bit of info here, and this is a fast flank. Two of the players from NIP, that's Shandy and Besney, just looking for any sort of picks they can possibly get. Now with the Sheriffs in hand, it's a possibility, but it's being covered! Oh my word, Shandy. A little bit of a whiff there with a shorty, not able to get the kill he was looking for.
Carl and Zine doing a decent job though, punishes Stacks. And they're trying to break the wall. This is going to be an incredibly difficult round to win, but we've seen some fantastic thrifties so far in this tournament.
But surely not.
Okay, 1v3
with the post plant utility as well. Double shot dart still online for Zest. He's just used one of them. Just does not look likely. B&J probably look to do a bit of damage. He gets the rifle in hand, but yeah, even if Arby didn't get that kill, the swing timing would have been impeccable. So another one on the board for DRX, and they're throwing in so many little twists and turns, I think, with these usual hits and setups. The NIP just have so much to consider.
And NIP are fine when it comes to the B side of the map. It's not like DRX have really pressured mid too much apart from the pistol round. Of course, there was that Mako post plant lurk, but NIP are going to take a bit of a timeout here and discuss what to do about defending A. Their normal approach would be to go for some kind of either aggressive or pushed up position for John or Shandy, where you can still use your duelist escape mechanic to take contact, get that first pick, and get out. But that becomes way more difficult against a KO. You're going to get flushed out by fragment grenades, but the most crucial factor, you're going to get caught by the 0 point.
Absolutely.
And then, how do you get out?
Yeah, when you're suppressed, it's like you hold Shandy in an up-close position, he can't dash anymore. John obviously is relying on just getting a pick off in the first place and just missing out, but that won't be available playing the Reyna. This is the NIP timeout right now. They're just discussing exactly what we're talking about. I mean, how do you disrupt this kind of play that's kicking off? And, you know, the crazy thing is about DRX, they've done all of this conditioning. They threw in, obviously, the little, you know, mid to B kind of strategy at the beginning. But all of this emphasis towards A now means that any sort of adjustments that NIP are going to be making, theoretically, DRX should be open to a bit of, you know, maybe the B hit coming through, a bit more B main presence. So
yeah, I mean, you saw how quickly NIP pushed on that eco round. If DRX throw their regular utility over by A and then just watch for the push at B, if there's no Sage Wall there early on, then you can be pretty confident, I think, that Shandy or Besney are going to be pushing out from that area. So DRX, they're smart. They can make adjustments like that. And it looks like the spike is, in fact, going towards B early on. This could be exactly what we're talking about right now, using that conditioning towards A. And it looks like B&J is going to immediately be popping this Viper's Pit. No contact required. He's just sending it.
yeah, needs a bit of coverage as well from any players that might be on belt, but there we go, straight away. Pops it on top of 410, so that's going to be blocking a large portion of the site. I'm going to be used. I mean, I don't believe he saw anybody there, but he actually ended up guessing with the tag anyway and found the mark. Now Besney needs to be careful though, because it is that aggressive B main play. DRX realize, okay, we've been hitting A for most of these rounds. Let's change it up a little bit.
But Bren, they've used the Viper Wall on the fake. Here's a fight in mid. Oh, Zest managing to get the better end of Kawan Zine.
The Sage Wall goes down, doesn't actually get broken. A piece of it does. RB so low right now. Viper's Pit off the back, and that is going to just stretch over to the spike. John wants to play aggressive. He's just jumping straight in to his own demise.
That's the John I know and love. He goes for that one. You can definitely argue that you need a play to be made in that situation, though, because you're in a 4v5 situation, fighting into Viper's Pit when they've got all of the post-plant setups already. It's going to be so difficult for NIP here.
Buzz is just watching for this lurk off the side of yellow right now.
That wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah, I mean, at this point it is just a save. You can see the players of NIP already exiting this.
Yeah.
And this is the trouble with DRX, is they are so good at the push and pull of this map and being able to set up and use all of that utility for the post plants that you often find yourself, you've got no time to spare to even try and retake and try and push off the post plant positions that DRX end up holding. It's a difficult puzzle for them to work out, especially when you consider that the agents they're running, in my opinion, can be quite limiting in that regard. You know, it's the Reyna that they're playing alongside.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed though that DRX were able to get in so easily there. We were watching the fight that happened in mid, but they're trying to take that space towards the B site without a Viper Wall. And that should be quite punishing. That should be difficult for them. And it felt kind of like they just ambled in with a Sage Wall.
That's an odd buy here for NIP, but they took 3 rifles into the round, so everyone's just trying to buy up around them.
Shandy goes for the very early updraft there before DRX can hear him and floats up down on top. Recon Dart broken from the rest of his team as well. And DRX make it feel like they're running a bit of a default, but it's still 1:20 on the clock. This is a really early take of A.
And I gotta suspect this, right? I mean, this is the classic ranked playbook. Reyna playing all the way up close, and yeah, the discipline's there. Now John realizes, okay, I'm about to get pincered up from top belt. Swing coming through, bit of coverage from B&J. The rifle fire is enough to just push them away for but a moment, so John does escape with his life. With the drone coming in though, DRX, I don't think they want to be taking their foot off the gas.
John may have been suppressed by the knife there, not exactly sure, just dancing around on the radius of it. Wall goes out, same kind of wall. RB!
Snake bite.
He got vulnerable.
Chunks him down, yeah, and this is a bit of a difference maker. Previous rounds, the wall wasn't really broken in time and the plant wasn't really pushed off. But now 30 seconds remaining. It's do or die for them. Quick flash comes through. Surely NIP, they can't be doing this to them. The crossfire set up from the top of it. The dart is impeccable as well. 22 seconds left and still the spike, no signs of it coming down. It's up to Mako on the flank. The res comes through. He finds the picks anyway. With him and Zest, they combined it.
And Shandy's on the flank, a similar kind of play to the one that Mako made, but now they know where he is. And this seems so much more fruitless, so much less fruitful than what Mako was able to achieve with his push down mid. Both times that has delivered incredible results for them. But it got sticky. I mean, this is looking like a 6-1 kind of situation, but DRX, they at least had to think about how they were approaching that with the post plant being delayed, stopped for a moment. And Shandy is just going to save this. Breaks his ankles a little bit on the floor.
Don't worry. You'll get that back on the next half, or next round.
Don't write him off just yet.
That's what I mean, he needs to survive, actually.
We have seen some incredible comebacks in the previous games of this tournament. I'm thinking I mean, you don't have to cast your mind very far back. The Liquid Xerxia game had some insane leads like this, a 6-1 on IceBox that went all the way back to being 6-6. Similar kind of comebacks all over the place. It's all about how the teams adjust. Thus far, though, NIP have not found a solution. They've tried a bunch of different stuff, but none of it has really worked. I think this came the closest, though. Being able to actually deny the plant as it came down.
Yeah, that was crucial.
Forced a big play out of Zest and Mako, too.
Yeah. That really was crucial in being able to stop this. Because DRX, they will default into that as well. If you give them free space, if you give them the ability to get the spike down and set up and get comfortable.
They'll always plant in the same spot. They're always using the same knife. You can predict that and throw good utility against it.
That's that B main pressure. Fast off the rip. And again, another bit of it's a strange buy because they've just been taking these rifles into the round with the players of NIP surviving with them, but they can still do a bit of damage, even with just the marshals and the sheriffs and whatnot.
Mako is just waiting for this push from John. John, the only player... Oh, well, I guess they've got a couple of people actually with rifles in this round. But he is certainly one of the people they're expecting to get the job done. DRX on the approach. Again, not stifled too badly, but this time Cowan Seed pops the ultimate, and RB has been vulnerable.
I mean, that's good. The Hunter's Fury will push them away, but... Mako catches the lurk. Still, a pick going to be gained for it, but the Resurrect was available. Now Buzz is caught unaware. The Viper Wall, maybe just the comm wasn't being made that it was going down. He thought he was still safe, just hanging at danger there.
But because of how early DRX take all of this control in the rounds, towards B, towards A, they still have 40 seconds on the clock to be able to pivot, and there is no one on A to receive them. Mako's still in a position where he can have massive impact here. And a bounce recon lets them know there's no one pipes, and there's no one maze.
Yeah, they get so much information that no one's going to be holding on the side here, so they get the plant off. NIP, they're going to be able to contest this one. Slow Orb gets sent out, and it is going to be the fast retake. They want to try and disrupt this as quickly as they can. He does find the one, he knows the players are on the side, but he is being pincered right now from mid. Still the spray down, a quick little reset of the aim! And 4 kills for him, RB. Just flexing on him, I guess.
Sick play by RB.
I know.
He didn't really get an opportunity to shine when they played against Zeta Division. Didn't play badly. He just didn't get that opportunity to show how good he is. Since returning to a duelist role, he's going to be playing Jet for them mostly across their map pool, though he's been picking up Sage here. He's so talented, very skilled player. Playing Jet, playing Raze, that big entry duelist role. It's been a great change for the team, and it's nice to see him find those opportunities even when he's on Sage. 13-2 right now.
Popping off. This would never die. This is the same when he gets sent all the way back. Clears a bit of that B main area.
Toxin screen down.
Mako's just been watching for these pushes constantly.
I think this time they are going to be more cautious of it though, just because of the Blade Storm. They know that Shandy's playing with it. They might be trying to set up some little play to try and push him into a deep position in mid, or...
Stax just used his 0 point to clear out Nest as well, so they know there's nobody pushed up on A defense. Of course, they could be pipes or trying to find a timing after the knife, but for now, they feel like they've repelled any early round aggression. And with a minute on the clock, now is the time in the round to go and start taking some space. Definitely a more patient, respectful approach, though, from DRX here.
Yeah.
They're really cautious about the full buy with knives online.
Now the drone gets sent out here for DRX. Leading the team in with the flash. You catch the one player, and that was a tag as well. Hunter's Fury. Zest, he's been good for it in the past, but a quick skip and a hop around the corner. He's going to be safe for the time being, and while all that was going on, bit of a diff there from the Jet players coming through. They break the wall, and DRX being punished for taking their sweet time.
And this
able
time,
to get off the safe plant.
The spike does not go down. Yeah, Bren, that's the massive, crucial difference. How do you even retrieve that thing? I mean, Mako's still got his wall, but everybody on NIP knows exactly where it is.
It's going to take some heroics. 15 seconds remaining. NIP are playing this so far back, they don't want to give up any sort of player advantage, and yeah, as soon as the plant noise comes through, the swing timing from all of them, they collapse onto DRX, knowing that they had no other choice. A round finally on the board.
Finally, 7-2. DRX still in commanding lead of this map, but NIP are starting to find the adjustments. And it really isn't about that fast retake necessarily, it's about denying the plant. Because just removing the ability for DRX to play those post-plant setups is far superior.
Yeah.
the silent vamos, I think, happening there.
You can feel the energy. You can feel it.
You really can. Same kind of setup here from Zest, using a recon dart to clear out one of those areas. BNJ doesn't even break it, so that gives them full 3 pulses of info and allows Buzz to push up very deep. Anybody in the mid-round re-clearing this area is certainly going to run into his Phantom. And all of that has started to pull players away from A. DRX are just opening up the map for themselves with how they play this early round.
Yeah, just cutting the noise out.
They make it so much easier for them to actually get the spike down by manipulating these rotations early.
And Kawazin is using his drone at the minute mark. He does this a lot so far in this half, and he just wants to try and clear a lot of these positions. But yeah, I mean, he actually does spot Mako there, but it's usually the only player he spots.
And Mako's going to be playing there no matter whether they're going A or whether they're going B.
Exactly, so it doesn't give any indicator of which side they might be hitting.
And it seems like as the spike returns to B, this is actually going to be the right read from NIP. The Brazilian team, Shandy at the IGL, they've got the read here. And this smoke the BNJ's got down is amazing, but it's immediately going to be neutralized.
Yeah, can't use it.
30 seconds left.
Not with Stax popping his ultimate. He's pressing everybody around him, and there is Mako catching the player through the lurk. The plant.
He gets 2!
That's unbelievable, actually. That's unbelievable. RB just needs to try and hop away. Now we see it. A little tap there onto the spike. They realize that nobody's actually quite on it, but the important factor being the DRX, they got the player advantage, and they have the utility, and Mako still alive, lurking through this mid area. Going to be any sort of heroics. They eventually take care of him, but not before he's done the damage. It's going to take more than that, though. John has to pop off 3 kills. The quick dismiss, but does he know where Stax is? Right round the corner. Stax wins it out for his team, much closer than the previous rounds.
But still 8-2, still DRX. And they're fairly firmly in control. I know that that ended up being a 1v1, but Mako's heroics, that round feels almost unlosable, or at least it should be.
It's like 3 rounds he's won off of lurks, I feel like.
And he keeps getting the opening picks via his lurk as well.
Yeah.
It's not like there are fights happening over the extremities. NIP just give DRX access to A, access to B, and then it's the mid-round or late-round lurks that end up being the first kills. NIP, when they came into this tournament, throughout their year, they're the only team in the tournament that have more first deaths than they do first kills. They tend to give away those opening engagements quite a lot. DRX are incredible at that.
They are so drilled, DRX, in terms of being able to clear all of this. Not giving away any of those first kills. Making sure that they methodically clear these areas. You can see the knife, and now the flash pops around. John was trying to reposition, but caught with his trousers around his ankles, I think. And Buzz just pre-firing straight through the wall. This was a force-up as well by NIP. They did not really have the money to be doing it, but of course desperation considering the round score. Spike's still not down. Shandy could do some magic with this one. Just working his way up so carefully, but he is getting spotted.
And the immediate reaction is to pop the Viper's Pit in a 5v3. DRX have no intention of letting NIP get a round, a crumb, a sniff, nothing.
Spike's still going to be pushed off though. B&J ends up using that Viper's Pit, but all the damage, all the utility again.
He can't even see it, barely.
Snakebite, nade, everything just getting popped off. And they are so cautious in terms of it. It's never just over expenditure of utility at the beginning. It's always just clearly planned out exactly what they need to just try and slowly take it. Any sort of space that they need.
And Bren, at this point, you start having to reflect on the fact this is NIP's map pick.
Yeah.
This is arguably their best map. IceBox is NIP's stomping ground. They're awesome here. And DRX are 1-1 this year on it. The only team they've beaten is Zeta Division. I was looking at that result and thinking, well, we don't really know how DRX actually, how good they actually are.
True.
And for NIP to be down 2-9 here speaks, I think, to a chasm of a difference between these two teams.
And at this point, final round and a half, you are looking at, I don't want to say desperation, but you're, I mean, you're definitely getting close if you're NIP. Shandy's just holding up close there. He's only been able to get the Spectre in his hands. Goazine again, not getting too much information as the drone gets broken.
And once more, the time ticks down. DRX, they're so ready for all of the aggression that NIP might throw at them. But this round, they've got people pushed up into more unconventional spots. Haven't seen Shandy or BNJ in these kind of positions before. But we haven't seen DRX just contact push down mid.
Final round of the half, and they are doing something completely different. The flash comes through, Buzz just pops out of it, says hello, goodbye.
And it's going to end up being a very similar play to the original pistol, but with much more of a contacty feel to the beginning of it. Really difficult to get the read there that they were going for a mid to B. And look at the position of RB in their spawn.
Besney needs this pick. He's not aiming properly.
Michael's just had everything. And again, RB's going on a magical adventure as Buzz slaughters everyone in Nest.
Oh my goodness. Mate, look at this. It's disgusting.
There is just no hope in that round for NIP. A 10-2 half, absolute devastation. And this is very similar, Brent, to what DRX did to Zeta Division.
It is.
Just destroying their opponents on IceBox. Ever since they've changed this composition, yeah, I mean, sure, it's only been 2 maps so far, but it's looking good.
All right, well, off the back of that half, let's hand it off to the desk to break down what we've just witnessed so far.
Thank you very much. Guys, I think it's very poetic that the last shot of that round is Mako standing with a lineup for a plant that they haven't showed us yet in this match. But I'm so glad you guys both talked about the post-plant strength of DRX, because that is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and even in that image, Buzz is out somewhere fragging. It stopped needing to even have the post-plant in the last couple of rounds there, because they just got on the site and killed everybody at that point. It's ridiculous.
I have something here, because I'm getting a little salty. There's so much. It's ridiculous
What's going on right now, because I thought NIP was going to be able to actually push the flanks and take out Mako, but he's just killing them every time, and he doesn't even need the protective layer that they had against Zeta yesterday, which was Zest in so many positions holding for him to actually fire off those mollies.
I think it has to do a lot with they were waiting for NIP to actually adapt to that. Okay, at some point they're going to stop, you know, taking the space out of us, but they were always one step ahead. We're not even going to be playing for the post one. We're just going to keep pushing. And somebody that was pushing and actually getting the spike down was RB, playing on the Sage, being, you know, the tip of the spear so many times. You need to get the wall down, the spike down, and still he frags the way that he was playing. It's just
Zero
insane.
assists. 0 assists on the Sage.
He only heals himself. He only heals himself. He's like, okay, I'll go in, I'll get the spike, but the heals for me, because every single piece of utility I'll have to tank.
I actually love that, because we spoke about assist at the top of the show, and he's switching over to the Sage. We see him play a lot of Jet, and he's got 0 assists, because why would you heal anyone else right now, Bala?
Yeah, I mean, they don't even need it, because they get the first kill, they end up getting the spike down with no real pressure, and they just back off and play the game. There's so many moments where I see Stax also just getting in positions and waiting for them to run into their angle, and he does it so cleanly. It's just a headshot. There's no trading on the NIP side because it's so sporadic how DRX is approaching the sites.
Yeah, exactly, and the timing is just so right. We see actually the same that we saw against Zeta. Mako has his ultimate. We know it's going to be a B hit. We know exactly how they're going to play it. No, not really, because they might be pushing. They might be looking at the back. NIP just literally did not have the answer, and the timing for everything was perfect.
Yeah, well, Barlow is pretty salty here on the desk. So let's hope NIP can pick it up in the second half. Over to you, Saisho and Brent.
Thank you very much, Desk. Yes, this is. I hope that NIP can pull something back in this, but currently looks like DRX had a fantastic read in terms of how they might try and play and disrupt the way that they like to play all around. But now it's a new round here. The pistol round as a half gets switched, and NIP have got to come up with the win in this round.
That's incredible disrespect by Stax.
He just grabs the orb.
Just taking the orb with no teammates to even help him. That's madness. He now rotates up to Rafters as NIP just completely silently contact him.
And they have got in for free. Stax was waiting up top there. Now Zesty does have a bit of a lineup for this. Rebound off the top. Shock darts to see if he can catch many unsuspecting players. But the way this wall is set up as well, it's so annoying to try and break here. Lovely shock dart.
Yeah,
Break that one.
takes the full amount of that. He's going to get healed back up to 100, but this wall is so annoying to get through. And there's a couple of NIP players on the other side of it.
You can see just a little gap at the bottom there for them. Buzz though coming through, dashes right round the corner.
No way!
No way does he do that, man. And just two players left standing. B&J and Comazine can't even do it. The quick little right click, Buzz goes down, but still the defuse just being stuck in front of them.
Disgusting round from DRX. And they let them in, they let them get onto the post plan. They have to knife their way back through the Sage wall. And then RB has just saved his own wall for the retake, puts it down to block off one of the angles, and they hit some absurd shots.
You notice how they were breaking one portion of the wall at a time, just getting it weak enough for one hit.
Yes, which means that
all three blocks instead of just the one.
Yeah, that's how you smartly. North America, take note. North America, I've genuinely been mauled in at the amount that North America only breaks a single block of Sage walls and tries to funnel through it. Now, DRX have thought about a lot of different aspects of their game. Very intelligent team.
Very cool. NIP.
They have to force
up to this one, yeah. Of course they do. Of course they do.
You've got to go for it. And Buzz, he really got away with murder in that previous round.
Drone's going to tag just onto the one player. Buzz trying to get out of there. Updraft and a dash to escape. Stax though more than ready. Throws the flash off to the side, banks it.
Spike planted.
Going to be rewarded with that pick off onto John. Still, Besney, one of those shots. Zesto has worked himself into a deep ankle, and yet he still continues. He's rattling it off. Only the Sheriff in hand, but Mako now 1v3. He's still going to be trying to play this one. For close play, he knows that one of the players on 410 could be dropping off, and Besney was at the back of the side. So many variables to consider now in this one. Just a quick clear around the corner. Crossfire, NIP not letting him get comfortable.
And that's finally another round on the board. There's been such a drought in between all of these rounds. They got the previous one, I think it was 7-2. And they needed a mighty performance coming out from that Sheriff, coming out from Besney, in order to make that one work. He's skyrocketed to the top of his team in terms of the fragging department, but they need big impact from everyone across the board to drag this one back. It's a massive mountain to climb.
And look at this gamble stack from DRX. All 5 of them are B main.
And it's exactly where NIP are trying to go.
Oh, no way. And the Jiggle Peak, just one of the players making noise. It might be unsuspecting for them. The dart does come through.
The dart sees Buzz, and that is exactly the player you expect to see there. So that doesn't give the stack away.
Drone comes through. It does force the swing. At least 2 of the players still there dealing with the players. Enough. Surely how are they getting those picks? Oh my goodness, Mako trying to escape away. Shandy's up in the air with the right click.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, if you're going to go out, you go out in style. I know that NIP aren't going to be...
I love that. Shandy's like, no, you're not getting away from me. Just trying to run away around the corner.
Yeah, still a chance, though. Every round that they put on the board here gets them closer and closer to making some kind of comeback, but it's a long road before it even looks doable for them. This bonus would be a massive one to try and get the momentum back in their favor. And they've got to be they really haven't learned too much about the DRX setups either. From our POV, you could see that Mako was holding like a retake setup over towards B on the pistol round, and now they've swapped it up again. Obviously went for the gamble stack round 2.
Sure.
And now Mako's actually holding on A.
Bit of a disarray for them. Shandy does have the Blade Storm, but immediately it's removed from him. Look at his shock darts. Forcing him away off the top of the tube.
And Shandy's looking down there to avoid his head hitbox from being exposed. But it doesn't stop him from getting tagged by a bit of the shock dart damage. NIP, though, have done well here, I think, at applying pressure over to Buzz, but he swings with a flash. Can't find a pick out of it.
Yeah.
NIP escape unscathed there, and maybe Buzz thinks about repositioning.
It's interesting as well. I think John heard footsteps, and he's the one who's just lurking, trying to catch it in mid, but Buzz falling.
How often have we seen this Mako-John battle?
The nade? Don't the nade! What are you doing, Besney? Just tanking it, thinking he'd survive. The plan's disrupted now. Still 50 seconds on the board, and John, he's got to come up huge. One more Lear available to him. Pops it off to the side. The team, though, squeezing them. DRX feeling pressure from every single angle, but Zest, cool, calm, and collected. Only getting the one. B&J flashed up. Just trying to survive, but DRX, they come up with the round anyway.
And RB, the hero of the moment, closes it out for DRX, puts them onto map point. He's 17 and 6. Finally got an assist, by the way.
What was this?
But this, oh, it's brutal.
I guess he thought he'd be able to get it off.
It's such a phenomenal fragment grenade, though, as well, because it lands just within line of sight.
Yeah.
And that grenade requires line of sight to be able to do any damage at all. These guys are fired up.
Just a couple of inches back, you know, he's safe there if it was around the corner, but no.
Shandy's going to pick up the operator here, looking towards B. Oh, sorry, looking towards A here, as the rest of his team goes for a fairly quick push. And that looks like Mako suspected it. They're so aware. And that Viper Orb has not landed where he was intending.
Oh, that drone needs to die. Eventually, it does. Mako drops the Viper's Pit. It's going to land just at the base of the site, so no elevation in play. Still John, okay. The Vandal spray down, eventually he's rewarded with that one pick off. And RB's a big one to get. And with a minute left, they could decide to go elsewhere, but they've already committed that Viper wall.
You can see DRX are already anticipating the rotate. Buzz, Stacks taking up their positions, spreading out the defense a little bit. And this is why it can be a good idea to just cut noise and re-hit the site, because you'll generate yourself an advantage. They see Shandy. You expect him to be the tip of the spear. I mean, maybe not when he's operating, but I think that is probably give them an idea that it's a re-hit.
I mean, it's a big indicator, though, if Shandy is the one who's killing that with his op.
30 seconds left.
They might be pivoting away.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that'd be a pretty smart read, but it's only Buzz over by B right now.
Yeah.
And that means he's not one of those players with utility that can deny the plant, but he is just going to take the face first off.
Sure. Quick little shot to the head, now the plant. Needs to go down! John! Oh, he lets go of it. Doesn't know what to do, wants to take the duel anyway, and he's giving DRX a perfect in. And this could be the round. Shandy's left alive. The solo player, but shut down once more.